I was 30 weeks pregnant in my pregnancy with my second daughter, and we had went in for a level 2 ultrasound, and that was when we heard the news that she had abnormalities in her heartbeat.
Immediately, they rushed my wife out to San Francisco to UCSF. They had officially given us the diagnosis that she has a complete heart block. So they were externally pacing her heart with basically 2 wires that were literally just sitting on top of her heart. So she couldn't be moved, she couldn't be picked up. Eventually, her main cardiologist sat down with us and kind of explained the entire situation to us. The reality was a lot more severe than we expected. We were expected to take home a baby that was pretty much in a vegetable state. And they showed us the severity of her brain damage. They told us that we should never expect to see her walk or talk or, a lot of these main things that we would expect our child to be able to do.
We were just very taken back. We totally expected to deliver and then walk out of the hospital with our baby, and
first thoughts in my mind are, she'll never get to ride a bike, she'll never get to run, she'll never get to play sports. That was just the hardest thing for me, knowing that she wouldn't have the privilege of having a normal life, One night we got a phone call pretty late at night from one of the cardiologists, and her leads were flooded by the fluid that's just evolved in her heart. They keep telling us that she can't get a pacemaker because she's so small. Her cardiologist is actually out of town. He's a Seattle Seahawks fan, and he went to the Super Bowl. So immediately they bring up another cardiologist, and this very tiny lady walks up to us. She was like, okay, this is what's gonna happen. I'm gonna take Gianna in for surgery, and I'm gonna open her up, and what I plan to do is put a pacemaker, attach it to her left rib cage. She'll have a full-on pacemaker because she can't get leads anymore because her heart is in such a bad state. We asked her, are you really gonna be able to put a pacemaker in her? She's like, oh yeah, I've done pacemakers on babies way smaller than her. And so she ended up attaching a pacemaker to her left rib cage. As soon as she came home from the hospital, she pretty much lived up to everything that we were told. But right around when she turned 1, certain things started happening, and all of a sudden she started scooting. And I would say probably a couple weeks later after that, she started crawling, like fully crawling.
Oh my gosh, she's totally acknowledging us, and we were so overjoyed. And her big sister got really good at celebrating her because anytime she would, follow after her, it was a miracle. So
yeah. Right after her second birthday, we were just relaxing in our living room. So I jokingly told Gianna, go to mommy, and she just starts walking towards Angela. Physical therapy, they told us that they didn't need to see her anymore.
She no longer qualified for their services.
Yeah, we ended up going back to San Francisco because they wanted to do a brain assessment for her. And she basically tested average for a 3-year-old being a 2-year-old. And the most recent cardiology appointment we went to, he had it worded very specifically and told us, in theory, it seems like her heart's getting better. But he couldn't give us any straight answers. He just kept saying...
We tried so hard to get it out of him.
So he stops and looks at us and just tells us, I've been doing this for a very long time, and I've never seen a case like this. So her case was so rare, and her recovery was so unheard of. They wanted to do further studies on what her case entailed. Officially, she's made it into the books at UCSF. She loves running, and the way she runs with her little arms and stuff is the funniest thing to watch. So the stuff that I once was broken thinking that would never happen is the stuff that I'm actually getting to see her do now.
She's just very determined. She's a very headstrong girl, and it shows. She's very feisty. She's very witty. She's a very smart child.